This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
We are ready to get started right away since we started just a little late. I just wanted to acknowledge first that we all saw Captain standing. They gave you at least a 10-second shot on air last night. It was beautiful. Nice, crisp, and clear. We saw you standing there.
Oh yeah,
so
it was
fresh and handsome.
Heidi,
you know,
was
Captain got made famous last night amongst the feed from CBS kept freezing. It was nice when they zoomed in on you, and you represented us well, Captain. I got to say that.
Yeah. Looking good
on CBS.
Yeah, well, no, who was ESPN was doing Monday Night Football?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it was ESPN. Unless you were watching, or did they have it on in Vegas? Did they have it on the CBS affiliate? Because for those that don't, all have. Okay, there you go. That's why. Yeah.
Well, we saw you, and they did show some of our other Raider Nation stars as well.
Everyone in the restaurant was impressed that I knew you. And I said, yeah, tomorrow night, come and watch our show on YouTube. I'm together with Captain Jack.
Anna saw you on CBS.
See, I was right.
Yeah, in Vegas, if you don't have ESPN, since CBS is the and again, Sarah says ESPN, but in Vegas, for those that don't have ESPN, the local network that is the Raiders network carries the game no matter where it is.
Well, I want to get this show started right away, and I told everybody what I was coming with from last night's game. And I wanted to start by grading the units as I see them, offense, defense, special teams, and of course, coaching. And I'd like to start first with offense. And Bishop Brehall, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I'd like you to start with your grade, and I want you to give me 1 or 2 points why you made that grade for the offense.
Well,
oh God.
And which particular? We're gonna talk about special teams, the defense, offense.
No. We're gonna talk about offense first, and I need your grade first. Then you tell me why, and then we move.
In the first half, they get an A+.
Okay.
And in the second half, I can't give them a grade.
That's they didn't get an incomplete, Bishop. You got to give them a grade for the second half.
And here's why.
Throw that F up there.
Because I got him a Z- because all of a sudden, I don't know what McDaniel said in that locker room, or maybe it didn't filter in. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe guys are tired, a little fatigued, something. But Carr came back out there and looked like a deer in headlights. And we were up 17-0 before we let them score, before going into halftime. I knew Kansas City would get something sometime. But the way our team was rolling, every one of us thought, oh, we like what the commentators are saying because we rarely get to hear them moan and groan. Something went wrong with Carr. And he got scared and went 3 and out. And yeah, the ball was close to the end zone, but with all the weapons we got,
so besides Carr, what's your other reason for giving him that offense that no grade in the second half? Surely you did see the whole game.
Waller didn't. Waller didn't play the second half. Waller popped out. Waller was gone in like the end of the
first quarter.
Yeah,
first six snaps.
By me. So
that part. He always seems to be missing in action when we need him the most. Has anyone noticed that?
Yeah, that didn't used to be though, right?
Now he's got the bag of money, and we can't use him. And if we had him in there, we'd won that game, in my opinion.
Well,
we would not have to throw to Adams all the time. And Renfro, he did his thing a little bit, but maybe Carr should have ran the ball a little bit more along with Josh Jacobs and ran the option and did some extra stuff. All of a sudden, they just stopped doing what got us up in the first half, which was run that ball. Run that ball down their throat. Ball control.
Yeah, that's all on Carr, too. Carr's making those calls.
Yeah. And now, Heidi, need your grade for the offense?
I give them a C+.
Yeah. Give me some reasons why.
First half, I mean, they did great. The one thing I didn't like was on that 4th and 1 where they went for the field goal to go up 17-0. It was kind of like they sorry, cat fight. It's kind of like they took their foot off the gas there, and then they were happy with a nice big score. And I saw a post on Facebook last night. There wasn't a Raiders fan in the world that thought that lead was safe. Come on. Nobody thought that lead was safe.
No.
But why McDaniels said, you know what, Josh Jacobs, he's only run 154 yards tonight. I don't trust him to run the ball and to hold on to it and make sure that Mahomes stays off the field and keeps our offense on the field, which is the way you beat the Chiefs. Why McDaniels went away from that, I don't know. But I'm not blaming Carr for that. I'm blaming McDaniels.
Deja vu. And Captain, your grade for the offense?
Well, obviously it's an F because Derek Carr was there. I mean, no. It's Z minus because Derek Carr suited up because it's all his fault. He can't. He was the quarterback who can't throw to himself, and by the way, he can't block for himself, and he doesn't play. His special teams is atrocious, and he can't cover a receiver a lick. It's all Derek Carr's fault.
You forgot
it's
about
his fault.
Game prep, game planning, and play design. Oh my God! He failed in that. Bishop, this is not a response thing. It's Captain's turn.
Yeah, I just want to make that clear real quick. I am not bashing Carr about his duty last night, except for
know you're not.
One series where he just seemed like he was not himself.
Okay, if that's one series, you're going to grade an entire offensive structure on one series.
Of course,
you made the point.
That's the
you made the point. You said that we went for 3 points. Heidi talked about it. That 3 points kind of. Oh wait, my first thought. I told my wife, look. They're
that was
up
in
by
the
1
first
point.
half,
and it's like we're going to give them the ball back. No.
Well, I see. The fact that I know y'all watched it on TV, but I was kind of there.
So your C minus comes from what first?
No. And I'm being facetious. I give the offense a B minus overall, B minus overall, because in the first half they would have even had more points had Mac Hollins caught that first down pass. And also, if Mac Hollins at the very end where Carr threw into double coverage, because Derek Carr doesn't throw into double coverage, right? Bull crap. He threw into double coverage, and Mac Hollins had a touchdown catch that was taken
away from him, right out of his hands. And you have another reason, maybe why you gave him that grade B minus?
No, I mean the offense. The third quarter they sputtered a bit, but that is not all on Carr. I don't know. Next time for all the Kardashians, I'm going to have the set playlist of exactly what happened and why, because I said, okay, well, the offense didn't go. Well, the offense doesn't go. There are 11 people on the offense. People drop the ball. The offensive line doesn't block. The offensive line gets penalties. And by the way, we'll talk about the officiating in a bit as well. But if the offense as a whole doesn't work, it's the offense. It's not one friggin' person.
And I'm going to give him a B. And I'll tell you why. I really felt like the Raiders, I said a few things that the Raiders had to do for coming into this game. They had to run the football very well. Now, I'm just going to take it aside to ask just for food for thought. Why, when I thought our offensive line was set with Mumford at right tackle, why was Illuminor in the game? But we'll go back to that. I thought that the offense.
Mumford was playing the extra tackle because
Harry was the right tackle.
No.
He was playing the extra tackle.
And Illuminor was playing the right tackle, and Mumford was playing the extra tackle that Heron played last week before he got out with the ACL injury. You know why? Because I was looking at the offensive line. I saw Miller. I saw Cotton. I saw
Cotton was
James.
there too?
Yeah.
I thought Bars was there. I thought Bars was next.
Cotton was playing left guard. James was playing center. You had Parham at right guard. You had Illuminor at right tackle. And then Mumford was playing the extra tackle. That was your offensive line because I was looking at it.
Well, perhaps that. But nevertheless, we ran the ball. 155 yards from Josh. We did what we had to do. What we didn't do on offense was to sustain drives. And this is partially play calling, and it's partially some really, really bad drops from guys like Hollins. Who I saw just absolutely drop one ball right in his head. He also, thank you, Mr. Hollins, had the first offensive PI that I have seen from a Raider receiver in some time, but we'll get to the officiating in a minute. They dug in their box. Now we move on to defense, Bishop. What grade do you give the defense? We're through talking about Carr for the moment. Defense, what grade do you give?
I give him an honest B plus, and because while I like to come on here, and we all know Jones has been missing in action from the get-go, and I really believe he's playing hurt. They're just not telling us what it is, but they need his presence out there for a psychological reason more than his activity. But he's getting there. And I love what Mad Max is doing. He is what I thought he was when we drafted him back then, when Gruden and them company was in. I said he is going to be a special one. And hypothetically, I know you won't say it, Captain, but I'm going to say it now. Just imagine for a second, if we would have kept Mac and got Mad Max and a mediocre type of defensive tackle. That's nasty. And Blake Martinez and them, they did an all right job, but the secondary kind of laid an egg last night. And that's why they get a B from me. But up front, I was glad to see that they could touch Mahomes where other teams can't get to him.
Heidi, you're great for the defense.
I'll give them a C+.
Okay.
They held the Chiefs to 30 points. I mean, that's an accomplishment. Now, I would have given them a higher grade if Travis Kelce wouldn't have had 4 touchdowns.
Thank you.
We'll go back to the Derrick Henry question I asked. Who's the one person you game plan besides Mahomes? Who's the one person you game plan for when you play the Kansas City Chiefs?
Travis Kelce.
No, Andy Reid, because if you sleep on him, he puts mustache.
We'll get to the coaching. We'll get to the coaching.
That's a joke, Peggy.
But
overall, I was not disappointed with the defense. They did have their letdown error, but if you can hold the Chiefs to 30 points, you've given your team a good chance at winning. I mean,
and Captain, your grade on the defense?
I would say B- C+, because again, and this is where Sharif is actually helping me in here. KC scored 41 on the Bucs. They only scored 30 on us. And the Bucs have a proven defense, and we had a decently lined up against them. They petered out. That the third quarter, when the offense sputtered, was when they had a lot of their offensive rigmarole. Nobody could cover Travis Kelce. Nobody. And that it was pissing me off that, if somebody was covering them, they were too far. There was actually a wonderful pick play that was for one of his touchdowns. The last touchdown, again, which was right in front of me, nobody was covering them. Mm-hmm. So, again, if you actually cover Kelce with somebody that is available, and if you figure that out, Graham, we win this game. Yes, Bishop, I see your hand up.
And let me also say that Captain's right. I mean, and Patty, you're also right on the fact that we got 30 points. You held Kansas City to 30 points. But see, for me, being the person that's really defensive minded, I'm just going to say straight out that I didn't think the defense did well at all. As a matter of fact, besides coaching, which we'll get to, that was the number 2 reason we lost this game. A defense keeping you in the game is nice, but a defense wiping out all of your offensive accomplishments is another thing altogether. When you come to Kansas City, one of the things you've got to do is keep Kelce under control. This man single-handedly scored with 24 points on us. I mean, that wipes out most of our offensive production. You cannot come and do a half game plan on a team like Kansas City and then expect to win the game. Not to mention the 7 penalties, the 378 worth of offensive yardage. And Heidi, I get what you were saying. It's pretty good when you shut down the Chiefs, but they can be shut down. As a matter of fact, they lost already this year, so they can be beat. Okay, so let's not go there with oh well, we expected them to roll up 400 yards a tree. I expect my defense to keep people out of the end zone.
Did anybody watch the game against them and Tampa Bay, but especially Indianapolis?
Mm-hmm.
Kelsey can be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They put a athletic linebacker on him or two, and you bring down a safety. You cut them out and make them one-dimensional, which is to throw to, oh, come on, Schuster? He couldn't get it done in Pittsburgh. He's not the threat. He ain't Hill. And we all do this. Watch this. We all do this. Oh, Kansas City. Oh, my God. We start shaking in our boots. Not all of us, but a lot of us do it.
Yep.
There, I say, they are mediocre. Kelsey is not Kelsey when they had Hill.
Street football, honey.
He's one hit away from being on the stretcher. And in this division, all we got to play, there's some physical teams like San Francisco. The Rams, when they get ready to play, this is the beginning of the season. And if we can mop Kansas City's behind up and down that field, but we let the foot off the gas last night.
No, we let our defense.
That defense got put back on the field because of something stupid, and that's why they won the game.
Now let's move on to special teams. And Heidi, let me go to you first because you and Tom warned me about our special teams. Please, let's give special teams a grade, and then please help us be educated because I got a lot of knowledge from Tom, T3, and Heidi this last week on the special teams.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, between AJ Cole and Daniel Carlson, I can't give them a bad grade.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, I got to give them like a B. Just because if not for Daniel Carlson, we're not in that game.
Nope.
And AJ Cole, I mean, he only kicked twice.
Yep. One of the few things that happened right.
Yeah. So, it's the coverage that worries me. It's the coverage that worries me. But I have to still give them a decent grade simply because of Carlson and Cole.
That's right. All right, Bishop, your take on special teams?
Yeah, I see that post. I gotta respect the facts. Numbers don't lie.
That's correct.
I love our kicker and punter. Those guys are solid, more than what we had in Seabass and Shane Leckler back when. And the thing is, we haven't had that kind of power on the special teams. But I agree, Heidi. It is a little loose in the goose there because we got to have guys that are locked down, and it's just going to take a little bit more coaching. I think I'm going to be honest. I think we're 1 year away from being where we need to be. The gelling, the learning of the offense, the special teams.
So
some of those guys got to buy into the system, but the tackling is a little bit out of whack.
So what grade did you give the special teams for yesterday?
I give them an A.
Good show. Good show. Captain, what's your grade?
I'd give the kickers an A. I'd give the position players a C, which would average out to a B.
B. And that's my grade too for them. I mean, I have to point to that holding call, which
was not a holding call.
Well, we're going to get to that in detail, and I agree with you. But the statistics even said that it's been how many years since 2015 that a call like that's been made. I don't know whether that's the internet working, but it's a rare call. And of course, like the Tuck rule, leave it to the Raiders to get a rare call. The problem is it changed the game. And of course, they were able to get back on the field, and yet we see our fourth touchdown to Kelsey for that defense
But there was really also a call against the Chiefs that changed the game as well.
Go ahead.
That penalty against Chris Jones was a terrible call.
Agreed.
And
I saw it right in
had
front of me. Bullshit.
Had that call not been made, the Chiefs have the ball, decent field position. There's no telling what happens. And so both teams had plays, bad calls that changed the course of the game.
And now let's move to the one part, the part, and I know you want to talk about penalties, but let's move to coaching. And Captain, I want you to start. I want you to give the coaching a grade, and then give us maybe a couple of points why you gave him that grade. Gotta move to coaching.
I'd break it down by quarter. You know, the coaching. Well, you're going to go overall offensive defense. Overall, I'd have to give it a B because we were in the game against the Chiefs. We lost by 1 point, but there were breakdowns in there. Like, I don't know, maybe going for 2. when you don't need to go for 2, and the Chiefs, the previous series, went for 2 and they didn't make it. And so they're giving you a 7-point spread. Why are you doing that? I read something about, well, everybody was in on it, or everybody was. That's a crock.
That's crock.
That is the team covering up for a coach that effed up. Okay, that's horse crap. That's horse crap. Bad call in that respect. And people say, and that Bishop said that we're a year away. I actually think, and I don't know why, but I actually think that we are. This is like a whole year of preseason for next year. This is a whole year of preseason for next year. Although Bishop said we were going to go winless. I told you we were going to win at least one game. Okay, so I can
wish. I can wish. I want to see one before I go.
Okay. Well, the point is that there's still.
We all want that.
If we do have a bad season, and then if we're trying to get things ready for next season, where's the Super Bowl for that season? Oh, that's right, it's in Vegas. Okay, it's in Vegas. But if we want to blank can McDaniels, and obviously Sharif is like, I warned you about Josh whatever. If you get rid of McDaniels and if you get rid of Graham,
it's just
and you get rid of everybody, how are the players supposed to gel into the system? And how are you supposed to get players that play within the system that they want to play? But you're just going to get rid of them, just like Al used to do the waltz. 1, 2, 3, fire. 1, 2, 3, fire. And it would be at most
conga line, right?
It was a tango. 1, 2, fire. 1, 2, fire. Because there is no continuity in the coaching if you keep firing the principals that are supposed to be running the franchise. There is no continuity. There is no time to gel. There is no time to get that esprit de corps of playing for your position coaches and then your main coaches in the locker room. You don't get that.
And that's a wise thing. Now, Heidi, I need your grade. Captain gave him a B.
Hefe, I have no clue why you're thinking that the Chiefs are gonna be. They're not even possibly even gonna make the playoffs, Hefe, but we'll get that.
Oh, they're so cute.
Look at them argue. Cute.
Oh, the ones that took 50 years to win their second Super Bowl. But anyway, Heidi, your grade?
I give them a C.
Give me some reasons why. Give us some insight.
They almost beat the Chiefs. I did agree with a lot of the aggression. I have to admit that first 4th and 1 play where Adams got the touchdown, everyone that I was around was saying that is the dumbest call.
But
it's brilliant now. In retrospect, it's brilliant.
It worked, but it worked,
but it was a very dumb call.
But it was the right time of the game. You weren't in the fourth quarter with the game on the line at that point. You could take a few risks, right? It's about risk.
I think it was more where it was in field position. You know, had it been on the other side of the 50-yard line, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I did not agree with, going for 2. I thought they should have kicked. I understand why analytics says to go for 2, though. But, going away, Josh Jacobs was chewing up the Chiefs, and they did not have an answer for him. Devontae Adams was killing the Chiefs. They did not have an answer for him. Yeah, he only had 3 receptions on 7 targets, but he had 43 yards per reception, plus a couple of defensive pass interference.
Yeah, and actually on that too, which was again right in front of me, it looked that the ball crossed the line. And I'm surprised. And again, I'm watching it live. I'm watching it live. I did not see it on TV, but it looked to me that he had it on or across the line in front of me, because that was coming right at me for that too. I didn't agree with the call, but it did look like he actually crossed the plane.
Bishop, go ahead, Heidi. You wanted to finish off?
No, I was just saying, for those reasons, I mean, I'll give them a C. They had the team in the game, but they didn't finish the way they were supposed to, and they had the tools to do it, and the tools were working, but they didn't take advantage of it, and that's the problem.
And Bishop,
Heidi had a great point about we missed out because we didn't take advantage. And here's the key. Yes, I'm with the coach. Go for it. Get the 2 if you can. But he doesn't call the right play. We don't see the fake handoff. You've been giving it to Josh Jacobs all the way down the field. Fake it and bootleg. They cannot get you. They're stacking the box. By the time you get that corner, it's it.
So what grade do you give? And we can all talk about what play he called later on, but the initial decision itself. But what grade do you give Josh for yesterday's performance?
B-.
B-.
He coached a good game to have us. And
we're losing you.
Admit this one. Bishop, when we got the ball on running the passer.
Is he okay?
Hey, that down the road, and that little catch, which wasn't a catch, by Devontae Adams, was the payback for that little.
Well, we're we're losing you, Bishop, and we're getting close to the end of your visit with us today. But I'm hoping that we can come back to you to finish off your observations about the coaching. And with coaching, I'm going to give it a D. And one thing I learned about playing at the craps table, you don't gamble with other people's money. Okay, you're going to sit up there and make this decision and that decision and put your team on the ropes, put your team in a position where they have to perform. You don't do it in the fourth quarter when you've already made the decision. It reminds me of a Civil War general that made 12 charges at Franklin, the Battle of Franklin, just to prove that his army was ready to fight. He was punishing them in a way for not showing enough mettle. We're going to take this gamble. I'm going to put y'all on the line. And that's exactly what Josh McDaniels did to this team when he decided not to go for the tie. A 1-3 team A team in the fourth quarter fighting and scratching to keep up with a team that we could not keep from scoring. Then on top of that, the very last play, decision making at 4th and 1 after the Davante Adams catch. Why in the world would you decide to run a complicated pass play when you had a runner that had already gained 150 yards? Those two decisions right there.
They didn't have another timeout to spare was one of the problems. And two,
I'm not asking for an answer to that. What I'm saying is I'm giving them a D because I believe that those two decisions. Now we can talk about, hey, what if it had worked? It might have worked.
I think there's more to it than this. It's not just winning the game, but Coach McDaniels is coaching for his job, and he has the opportunity to beat the Chiefs. Any one of us in his position would have tried something.
I'm sorry, and you put your guys in a position to win the game, either in regulation or overtime. You don't put that kind of pressure on your defense coming out there on the field, 1 point behind. 1 point behind, Heidi, be with me. It changes the way you approach the game and look at the game. If you're coming out there tied, even your play calling is different.
Yeah.
He put the team in a position that he should not have put them in.
Well, that's the risk that you play with, because it's high reward, but a heck of a risk if you don't. And at the same time, we were the better team. We had more weapons.
Absolutely.
We had more talent. We had the better running back. We had the better defense. We had the better. Maybe. No. Come on now.
No,
we had an opportunity just to get the first down, a couple first downs, and put our kicker out there who doesn't miss.
Anyway,
and they blew it.
And Captain, you might want to come in. You think that the coaching may have been a part of this, but now, Captain, we have to go to penalties. And the whole idea, 11 for 99 yards. Another thing I said that we could not do. Not only that, 7 of those penalties were on the defense alone. The other penalties were straggled between a grounding call, a delay of game call, an offensive PI, thank you, Mr. Hollins, and then, of course, that holding on the special teams. 11.
Okay.
That was the one thing you can't do.
I don't know, and you might have the stats in front of you, guy. I didn't get a chance to pull it up. I don't know how many we know how many penalties we had, but this is a direct quote from the gentleman that was the attendant in front of me when they had the horrific call of the car fumble. Okay. Yeah, you can say that he might have been driving him into the ground. That's the only thing that I can see.
We just saw Tony Siragusa and Gannon. That's all we saw.
Okay, I saw that, and that's what I told him. I said, other than the full force of the body going into car and driving him, that's the only reason why I can see for that call. But still, it was iffy 50-50 at best on that one. And the entire crowd in Arrowhead booed like there was no tomorrow. The guy said, I have never heard a crowd here boo the officials that bad at any game that I've ever been to. And the guy,
it was a division game against the Raiders. Heidi, I mean, Bishop, come on.
What I'm saying is,
Kansas City.
And I'll just say, he tried to hold up. He did.
Yes.
He tried.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying is that the Raiders benefited from calls in the beginning of the game, and the Chiefs benefited from calls at the end of the game. The officiating as a whole sucked.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
We got robbed on that intentional grounding call. He was outside of the pocket, and McDaniels didn't say nothing.
Well, you can't say anything. There is no.
I'm sorry.
You cannot throw a red flag on that penalty. Look it up, Bishop.
I understand, but I would ask the refs to look at the tape. At least that.
You can't. That is requiem for throwing the red flag. You can't say look at the tape, because then they'll give you a delay of game penalty on the coach for doing something that is not allowed in the NFL rule book. You can't ask that.
Let me ask the group a question, though, and you can respond as you. Did you not feel in the way this game was called before and after the alleged bad call? I'm talking about holding calls on Chandler Jones, holding calls Max Crosby unflagged. I'm talking about pushing and shoving and hands all over and Adams as they're going out in the flat. I'm talking about illegal, perhaps, picks, and we can argue about this all day.
Oh, they had a pick. They had a nice pick on that one touchdown.
Yeah, that sprung Kelsey to the end zone at least twice. I would like to know, did you not feel a shift in how this game was called after the
it was a definite shift. After that call, after that roughing call, I saw a definite shift, and the refs were making up for the rest of the game.
Yep,
that's what I saw.
Well,
Bishop?
I had a ball when I heard them booing. I was outside my skin, and I had a ball when I saw the fans go ballistic. I said to myself,
I told everybody, welcome to our world. Welcome more.
To our world. I want to see this more, because we never get the calls like that. And I said, whoa, this reminds me of the old game of I forget his name. Is it Adam Sandler? In the prison, when he does the football game and he has to throw the ball at the ref to get him to play right. See, it was going like that until that play, and then I thought, we're going to pay for that.
I don't care if
we're going to pay for that.
Rest them all. Somebody talking about they were scared of a riot. We have never been afraid of Kansas City Chiefs fans.
No.
The
only a-holes that they had in Kansas City was their damn security staff that made sure that I had to take all of my necklaces were not allowed in the stadium.
Oh, brother.
All of them.
Guys, you got to admit, refereeing, among other things, affected the outcome of the game, and it's not supposed to do that. I don't believe it's supposed to do that. You could clearly see.
I can hardly hear it either.
You could clearly that they were making calls and the non-calls that were made. Suddenly, Max and Chandler don't get any more sacks. They don't get close to
that phantom chop block. I was like,
I couldn't see it. I did not.
Where? They kept rolling the tape. Even the commentators were saying.
I have yet to see a Raiders game on TV yet. I haven't seen any of the Raiders game other than what I've seen in front of me, because I have not had time to watch any of the Raiders games. I'm sorry, guys.
The commentators were giving us good grades and remarks, and just saying we had it in the bag, and we let it loose. We let it loose. There's no other way to explain it. I don't care what they called at the end down there. These guys are pros. They're supposed to know these plays and books, because they get paid millions to play a game.
Heidi, I don't know whether you felt the momentum shift. I felt it by the second quarter. I felt it going on. You know, there's something going on with the Raiders, but it was also, are we having sound difficulties? It was also something going on with City Chiefs making adjustments to what Josh and Graham were doing as well. Heidi, did you see it? But you actually see momentum shift.
Yeah, there was a definite momentum shift. It was hard not to see, and I do believe that the refs were making up for that call, and I do believe that the refs did get intimidated by the Chiefs fans.
Oh my goodness!
I believe they did.
You're right. I mean,
I believe they did.
That happened.
But there was, and like Jerry Lopez was saying, there were holding calls that we got away with too. But
can we all agree though? Neither one of us would want to be the ref making that call for the Raiders, and we all saw it. And no. But would you want to be the ref walking out of Kansas City Stadium had they lost that game because of that call?
That's why they have security.
I wouldn't want to be
a problem. Scared of the thing. Captain, what's your take on that? I mean, have you ever been scared when you went to Kansas City? And why would the refs have a reason to be scared of Kansas City fans?
Well, because the Raider fans outnumber the referees by about 1 billion to 1. and okay, I'm being a bit facetious, but there was a good contingent of Raider fans in that stadium. Maybe I would say 65-35. There was a good amount there. And yeah, the Raider fans were not intimidated, but we also knew as well, we said, based upon some events that we've heard about in the past, they said, if we win this game, we were going to play like, what do you use the old thing where like a bunch of monkeys that, where you grab a monkey and you grab them, so you got a bunch of monkeys by the arm.
Lock arms and go out together, huh?
Yeah. If we won the game, we would find everybody with the right colors and we would gather in big groups just to make sure. Now, and Alex, by the way, I loved Arrowhead. It was my second time there. The fans were wonderful, Alex. Like I was said, the only reason why I would not go back to that stadium was because it was Raiders week and the security were a bunch of flaming rectal a-holes. And I can say that on screen without having to worry about things. They seriously screwed me over. And other people could bring in whatever the hell they wanted to, but I had to strip down of all of my regular necklaces because they said it was not allowed. But you know what? When I went back to the car, I hid 2 of them because I knew I was going to get on screen. I hid 2 of them, and I hid them so that they wouldn't be seen. So when I got back in the stadium, I had my owl necklace on, and I had my Raider necklace on. So it was like my way of saying that to those people because I was going to have some necklaces on.
Now, Bishop, final word. We're going to let you go, but I want your final word on your on the overall game and what you think we need to do better next time.
I was impressed with what they were doing. They seemed to have Kansas City on the ropes. And, as Carr said, they went up, we went up. It was kind of back and forth after halftime. But we need to finish the game, and we got to learn how to close the deal. And with Carr being in his 9th year, playing in some instances like he's a rookie, I have a problem with that, okay? His decision-making seems a bit loose and lack. And Coach McDaniels, I don't know what he's saying in that locker room, but I'd love to be a guy to go in there and talk to these guys for just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. But thank you for having me on. One last thing.
Go ahead.
If y'all didn't notice before halftime, when they walked out to the locker room, Kansas City fans was having their way with throwing everything they could at the players.
About that. Somebody was telling me about all this.
And Captain says that the fans were nice.
The ones that I associated with.
I couldn't find them, Captain.
Well, you were. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you there? Did you catch a flight from there to here?
You might want to watch the TV and see it. You tape it.
Some people that were there were telling me about things that were being thrown at the Raiders players as they walked off the field at halftime.
Somebody asked me a question and I gave a straight up response. Every fan that I encountered, minus one a-hole that was in the Kansas City store that I kind of went off on, because there's always one, minus that one a-hole in the store, they were kind to both me and Hollywood and his wife, and they all were taking pictures of us, and the crew that was right next to me, they actually were very positive to me and said, "Hey, you're not an a-hole, you're not a homer. You were calling the plays as you see them." And what was going on when Edwards-Helaire was down at the 1 foot line, I said, "Guys, that's not a touchdown. He's down." And they're like, "What are you talking?" I said, "He's down at the 1 foot line." About 30 seconds later, they come back and say he's down at the 1 foot line, because I was seeing things. And they're saying like, "Yeah, you know what the hell's going on." And I was being real. I was being unbiased and giving them the truth. But everybody that I was responsible with and came up to me last night was wonderful, Bishop. And again, this is not some Judeo-Christian BS being thrown at you. It is what I experienced because you asked the question.
I say one good turn deserves another. Don't they have to come to our house next time?
They got to come at the very last game.
Okay. We'll just be ready. Thank you, Bishop.
God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop.
See ya. And guys, I was asking you about what we need to do moving forward to fix this. We got a bye week, right, Heidi? And then we have the Houston Texans.
Josh McDaniels needs to learn how to use the run game. Plain and simple. Now, I know that you're not Josh Jacobs' biggest fan.
No.
But the man has been little Mighty Mouse for the last 2 weeks.
Yes, he is.
And when McDaniels did not go away from him against the Broncos, the Raiders won. Right. When he did wander away from him against the Chiefs came back because that allowed Mahomes on the field.
Correct.
And the Chiefs can only beat you when Mahomes is on the field.
So we have to stick with the running game. What else, Heidi? Have you looked at it? Have you just looked at anything else that we could just do better?
Get a defensive tackle.
I started laughing when Bishop was talking about, boy, if we had Max and Crosby. I'm like, with who? In the middle. Yeah. You still got the same problem. You still don't have that push in the middle that you need to collapse the pocket. And Captain, going forward, what do we? Oh, go ahead, Heidi.
Well, and I was also going to add, we may run into a little bit of trouble as far as offensive weapons go, because Mr. Adams certainly earned himself a day off for the next game. And Waller,
for next weekend.
Next game.
I think he's going to take a game.
Next game, unfortunately.
Okay.
And Waller, I have no idea how truly injured he really is, but every injury seems to be very debilitating for him now that he's gotten his big contract. That's all what I'm saying. So we might be going out there without Adams, without Waller. Who knows about Foster Moreau? And that is impacting the weapons. Now, there are still plenty of weapons out there. Hunter Renfrow is still available. Josh Jacobs is available. Zeus, our little red shirt guy, he's available. I mean, there are certainly ways that the offense can still purr like a kitten. But McDaniels needs, he made a statement at the start of the year by keeping 5 running backs. He made that statement. This will be a running team. This is going to be a powerhouse. It's going to be on the ground. And he's done nothing but go away from it. Nothing but go away from it.
And commitment to the run, like our esteemed coaches before us. I mean, I'm thinking about Joe Gibbs. I'm thinking about Parcells. Commitment to the run is what I thought we had. I really did. Like you said, Heidi, with the 5 running backs kept on the roster. And what are we left with? Begging for Zeus to have at least 10 carries. All the carries going to Josh. I mean, I must say, since the O-line has gotten their act together, he in turn has prospered. I see that.
But, and Mac Hollins had a horrible game last night.
I do not
absolutely
understand
horrible.
What was going on. Maybe it was a reversion. And don't we have a guy named Cole as well in our wide receiver core?
I think Cole is better than Hollins.
No, I don't.
I do. I do.
Right.
But all he's doing is fielding kicks. That's it.
Yeah, and again, I'm waiting for Cole to fumble one and really
one of the kicks. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Cole to. No, Matt Collins is better than Cole, and I actually had to go back and look at it for all of from his career with Miami and otherwise, and what Cole had. I thought we had a find in Cole, but I really had to go back and look when my buddy, the comedian that I had on, Jeff Paul, was talking about Cole with the Jets. And he said, no, you better take a look at him. So I did. And Cole is a nice to have, but he is not a Mac Hollins.
And he's not a great runner. But let me say something else about Hollins while we're at it. I don't believe that. I think Hollins was an accidental find. I don't think that he expected, right, to be the receiver that was actually lining up across from Adams. And somebody made the statement to me that Hollins better get his act together because you know that Devontae is going to be double teamed most of the time. You're the guy on single coverage. You're the guy that Carr's going to have to go to. So whatever you do. But I think also looking for the future, Captain, I mean, that tight end situation, I mean, I thought that McDaniels was a tight end guy. I mean, having spent all those years with Gronk.
He does have the tight ends. And actually, Moreau is a very good tight end that can block and catch. Okay. And Horsted is not bad either. Now, are they as athletic as Waller? No. But they're more available. And they're playing when Waller isn't available. And I mean, I honestly think that Waller's got a case of the bags. He got his bag and he don't give a bag anymore.
Oh, Heidi. What are you thinking about that? What Captain just said?
I'm waiting for Waller to prove him wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure he will. I don't know. I'm not sure he will. I did not think that he would be the kind of guy that would hold out for a contract, but I honestly believe that his prior representation wanted him to make absolutely sure that his injury was 1,000% better before he returned to training camp. And the reason they wanted to make sure was because he didn't have that contract yet. Mm-hmm. That's just... I'm just saying, I kind of got a feeling that I love Waller. I love his story. I love how far he's come. But there's something about him the last little while that I'm not sure about. And I'm also a little worried that he has a case of the bags.
Well, the other part of that is something in the rehab world, and I'm just going to come out and say it. When a guy is relapsing, it just doesn't happen suddenly, okay?
Right.
It happens gradually. You start to see a decline in efficiency. You start to see a decline in focus. Then you start to see the injuries, so we can have reasons, right?
And I don't want to say that. I don't want to accuse anyone of that.
I don't want to go there. But those of us who have been in the rehab world know that you always watch performance of former addicts. that gives you the bellwether. And I'm looking at Waller and I'm saying to myself, I don't want to say it. Nobody wants to say it. Why have you just fallen off to nothing? And I'll tell you something else. Besides the possibility of relapse, the other thing is, I understand he's into rap videos now.
And I think it also needs to be said, relapse doesn't mean that he would be doing drugs.
Right.
That doesn't have to mean that he would be doing drugs. Relapse can mean a lot. A lot.
Right.
But they say he's also into rap videos, and he's got a girlfriend that's gotten him into her business. And somebody asked the question, is his head really into football?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, isn't his girlfriend one of the aces?
That's what I've heard.
And he's starting to get into that world. He's starting to be seen at a lot of their performances, and he's in one of their videos, and they're like, do you really want to play football? I mean, I have to ask that about Waller, because his fall off started really last year. I mean, if we want to kind of date it, we absolutely need him. And I thought that McDaniel's offense needed him. Now, what's up with Foster Moreau? I can't get a straight story. Is it
the last I heard that he was going to check out his knee? That was before the game, and apparently it wasn't well enough to play. But so now he has another 2 weeks to get better.
Okay, that was a good decision, because Moreau is certainly, if Waller can't go, I mean, we'd like to see the ball in Moreau's hands, right, Heidi? Even more.
Oh, yeah. And Moreau is very capable.
There's no question about it. Now, who's the better blocker, Waller or Moreau?
Moreau.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, that tight end game. We want to look at the things for the future that we've really got to get back in order. That tight end game is crucial to any quarterback, to have that outlet. So we got to look there if we want to improve. Now, what does McDaniels himself as a coach have to work on? He absolutely has to work on.
Well, I think he needs to work on messaging, because I think that what he's doing right now, I don't know if there's a breakdown. And again, this is all conjecture, because none of us are in the locker room. None of us are out at practice. So we always can hypothesize what's going on. But there is a communication breakdown. I feel like I'm about ready to bust into a Led Zeppelin song right now.
Right.
Yeah. Communication breakdown. But the thing is there's something that is not being implemented between what he's saying to the players or what his position coaches are getting into the players. There is a synapse issue. It's not hitting all the synapses, and they're not firing on all the neurons, because there's stuff that's not being done.
Heidi, I mean, does Josh McDaniel absolutely have to do to become a better coach?
I don't know. He's been trying for so long, and he hasn't been able to do it. If I knew that answer, I wouldn't be talking to somebody on YouTube. I would be living in Vegas and being an executive.
I know, but I mean, you've seen him for about 5 weeks now. I mean, what do you see in every game you just wish he would do besides commit to the running game? And I know that's something everybody wants.
I wish he would quit trying to be cute.
Yes.
I wish he would commit to fundamental football. Quit trying to be cute.
Stop gambling with other people's money. I mean, I say that with all respect for people who love to see the dashing guy, right, that takes chances, that rolls the dice, that asks for a hit even though 16 is showing, right? But the fact of the matter is, you got a 1-3 team. The team, like Captain said, is not firing on all synapses. There's something missing. do you go straight to the risk taking, low percentage gamble, big returns?
And the team is close. The team is really close. The record doesn't show it, but they are.
Yeah. This, and again, I hate, because I know I'm going to hear about it. Like DZ, we call him DZ because it's a Richie Riche thing, because he is Zed in Canada. So DZ is on from the Wild Wild West show. Thank you. We had Alex who was on from Wild Wild West.
Hi,
so
DZ.
We got a bunch of, and DZ is a Chargers fan. But the thing is that, I lost my point. When Robert Bigler, who's a Chiefs fan, by the way, thanks for coming in, Robert Bigler. I missed your aunt's chocolate chip cookies at the tailgate yesterday, shipmate. So she still owes me some.
Sounds like it might be good.
They were the best thing I had at Arrowhead. The last time I was out at Arrowhead was his aunt's cookies, chocolate chip cookies. Let me rephrase that.
We were talking about the things we want him to do.
We need to figure out, and I don't know whether Josh McDaniels is listening to the hype or the the propaganda or the news about his upcoming impending firing. I don't know if that has gotten to him yet, but there's got to be something that he has to have from management, so that he might feel good about what his future is.
Grow a pair.
Well, I'm just
Come on.
Well, wait a second. You asked me about what's not being done. Okay. Right. It comes down to him, and he's got to feel confident about himself, because if he doesn't show the self-confidence in himself, you're not going to impart that upon your team.
Correct. I mean, I'm there with you, and I that part about him being, possibly looking over his shoulder for his job. Well, you know what? That's part of the problem that I have with McDaniel. There's an air of childish desperation, almost, as if he's thinking, "Gosh, if I don't get this right, teacher's gonna send me out." I just want him, like you said, just do the fundamentals, sound, sensible decisions, good game planning, stick to what's worked. Did you learn anything, just a smidgen of anything, from Bill Belichick? I keep asking myself that question over and over again, and that's why I wanted to transition into a quiz for my two fellow, the dead branches of the Belichick tree. And I have just, I'm not going to put Josh there, and I'm going to eliminate Vrabel because he was a player. But shall we review the videotape?
Okay, well, I can name a few of them straight up. I know there's Bill O'Brien. I know that there's Romeo Crennel. I know there's Charlie Weiss. Mm-hmm. Although I'm not sure, I don't think Charlie did a head coaching job in the NFL. He did in college. I know that there is Matt Patricia. I know that there is.
Oh yeah, we're at 5.
The Italian guy that was with him on the Jets and the Browns and went after Belichick for cheating, and the main, I can't remember, the Italian guy.
I'm trying to remember his name now, but
he's one of the first ones. Okay,
right. Very early, like from the Parcells days.
Right, that guy, and whose name escapes me at this point, because he was the one that brought out Cameragate and this gate, and Mangini, Eric Mangini. I got
and Mangini, yes.
Mangini. So what's that? 7?
Mm-hmm.
That I got?
Mean, yes, you do, and I absolutely, don't understand why in the world that McDaniels is following in the same footsteps almost. What is it that Belichick is not teaching these guys? I mean, Have you thought about that? I've given it some thought. What is it that Belichick's not telling these guys? Why are they going out there and just laying eggs everywhere?
Well, they're not Bill Belichick for one thing.
Well,
they're not Bill Belichick. Yeah.
But
and I mean, and actually McDaniels did admit that in his first stint in Denver, he tried to be a Belichick clone and it backfired on him to no end. You know, he lost the team. Everybody thought he was a flame, like the security officers at Arrowhead, flaming rectal hemorrhoids. Okay. And you can emulate somebody, but you can't be a clone of somebody. You take the best portions of what you think that they excel at, draw on them, and put your own personality into it, and then improve upon it to some degree. And unfortunately, Mangini and Patricia and Romeo Crennel and Charlie Weiss and whoever else I forgot, okay, they don't have it all, and they haven't had anything to make it better. And that's one reason why they fail.
The one thing, though, and Heidi, help me out on this, that I think that Belichick does the best is his ability to evaluate personnel and get the right guys in the right position at the right time. It also is always, for some reason, no matter who he has, able to call the right plays at the right time. And none of this has been imparted to his assistants. How is that possible? Heidi, help me out. I mean,
he's the one that's actually making the decisions and not leaving it up to them. So they never sink or swim until they get out on their own, and they all sink because they're not Bill Belichick.
I mean, the right personnel. Come on. If I'm working for a guy for 20 years, I mean, just by absorption,
you would think
a few things from him, right? I'm going to want to know, why did Bill make that decision?
Now, are our expectations too high because of that?
What do you think, Captain? I had huge expectations for McDaniels coming in.
Yeah, but the last time I checked, how many games have we played?
5.
Okay. How many games are in a regular season?
17.
We still have 12 to go.
Okay. And in order to get some sort of gelling and camaraderie and an issue of rote muscle memory, you got to do it again and again and again and take the mistakes, cut out the mistakes and improve upon them and change what can be done. I'm not saying that McDaniels is the greatest coach in the world. He's not. But I would say that with his years of experience in that tree, that he has experiences that he can use for the benefit of the team, but it's going to take the team and his coaching staff and his players to both know where they land within the scheme. And it's going to take this season to do it. And you know, the Raiders who are a better team than their record indicates. I'm sorry, folks, this Raider team should be 4-1. They should be 4-1. They should have beaten the Titans. By all rights, they should have beaten the Chiefs last night. They gagged the game against the Cardinals. Okay.
And the season's not over.
No, it's not.
This season is not over.
No.
It comes in. We will see as the teams progress through this year, and if they are making the same mistakes again and again and again, and somebody wrote it and I put it up there, that the players are not executing at the right time at the very end of the games. You know, they're dropping touchdown passes. They're making stupid mistakes on, penalties and or just, mental mistakes where they're letting the guys free or they're not making the plays. If they continue to do that, that is on coaching. That is on not being able to get the team to buy in. But if the team gets better, because remember, this was a Gruden team that was on skittish grounds, and they played for Bisaccia. And I'm sorry, and I know Rob was saying we should have kept Bisaccia. No, we should not have kept Bisaccia. No.
Oh,
no, we should not have kept Bisaccia because he was not an X's and O's guys. At least McDaniel is an X's and O's guys. And Graham, who I thought would be better, is the book is still out on him, but I don't think he still has the players for that skill set yet. He doesn't have his players in that system yet. And it's going to take at least a year or two for him to get all of the ingredients for that defense to click the way he wants it. And that's the truth.
Now we did hear Gunther say the same. We heard lots of people say the same thing about Gunther. And before that, Ken Norton Jr. Oh, he just doesn't have his players.
Well,
that's why his teams are not working.
I'm going to disagree with Peggy.
No, I never said that about Gunther. That's for sure.
No, Gunther, you needed 3 encyclopedias and a slide rule and a mini computer on the football field with you at all times. And by the time you figured out what the calculus was for where you needed to be, they had already scored a touchdown. Okay. And by the way, Ken Norton Jr. is as stupid as a box of rocks. He is a great player, but he's not a good coach. So
yay, USC. Yay, USC. I mean,
I'm just saying that they know.
What I was really trying to say is all new coaches and coordinators say, okay, if I can just get my right guys in to the right positions, okay, this will function a lot smoother. This is to explain why things haven't gelled up to now. True, only 5 games. But we've already identified one tendency of Josh that is extremely troubling, and that's the refusal to commit to the running game. He showed us by that complicated pass play he called on 4th and 1 deep in the 4th quarter. We're driving for a field goal. He showed us absolutely no confidence in the run game.
A run game that was humming. That run game was humming.
It was 100. Josh already had 150 yards rushing at that point. Why did you not give it to Josh? And someone told me the answer, because Josh didn't get his 5 yards on a 2-point conversion. That's the kind of logic that goes on in Josh's mind. I'm worried. Because it's the way he thinks. It's the way he comes to his decisions. Will we ever know why he didn't elect to give that 4th and 1 to Josh Jacobs? I mean, those are the kind of things. Just that failure to commit, and it's dogged. The failure to give Zeus any carries, like you said, 5 running backs. Mm-hmm. And you barely want to put even Bolden out on the field, right? Barely. That poor boy, what's his name? Britain Brown? He's never going to see daylight.
And by the way, Bolden was cussing out the Chiefs fans as he was leaving the field.
Oh, I would be too.
Yeah, I don't know what, because they must have said something to him over there by where he was sitting, because as he's passing by me going into the locker room, he did everything but give the bird. I think that he knew he was on camera, because he was doing this, and he did say "fuck you."
Oh,
okay, I know he did say
you're
that.
on Roku, dude.
But I'm also 1 hour and 18 minutes in the Roku, so I don't think they're going to catch that. Anyway, but he did. He was close to flipping off and did berate the Kansas City fans, because the Kansas City fans obviously were getting on the Raiders behind the bench.
Oh, but you gotta expect that to happen.
I do. Yeah. But if you're a professional, you let your demeanor and your play speak for itself.
But I think that I don't understand why it's like he's a little kid running. McDaniels. It's a little kid running around. Let me try this and see if it works. Let me try this and see if it works. Let me try that and see if it works. I'm like, dude.
Stick with fundamentals.
Dude.
Stick with fundamentals.
And when your team is playing a hated division rival, you're 1-3, you go for the tie. I don't care what the analytics are saying. And by the way, we haven't talked about analytics, but what's your take, Heidi, on this whole part about the Bible? You must do this when this and this and this.
Well, I'll tell you what, I only got 1 C in college. The rest were D's. No.
She said no.
It was statistics. I hate statistics.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm not capable of doing it. I just hated everything about it. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do it. I wanted nothing to do with it. And as fascinating as I find the analytics to be, sometimes the statistics aren't right. And sometimes you've just got to do X's and O's and play football and not be cute.
Fundamentals, basics. Yeah. Captain, your take on analytics? Well, look at Matthew. Matthew's going to get you fired.
No. Well, there's things. There's rules. There's statistics. Damn statistics and lies, or I can't remember what the quote is. But
you want to talk statistics in baseball? That's different.
Okay,
but football. You play football.
I'm just saying that and again, analytics in baseball works.
Right.
Analytics in baseball works.
It's an individual game.
Because it's one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pitcher versus the batter. The batter will put the ball in play, and then it's up to the next person to make the play. It's one-on-one. Okay. Analytics, for the most part, when you're 11-on-11, and that one person that breaks down and has the holding penalty, or has the or allows his guy to be beat, okay, you can throw analytics out the window. Okay, I mean, honestly, and I think that I did see a screen pass to Jacobs last night, who actually popped it up in the air and caught it, and then ran for, I think. But I have yet to see, a properly run end around, because I'm not going to use Adams in that respect. I'm not going to use Renfroe in that respect. I'm going to figure out. I'm going to get Johnson, who can't get into the game because apparently he doesn't know his playbook well enough. But if I'm going to run an end around, I'm running Johnson on the end around because he's the fastest guy we got.
Heck, I might even try Meek in that slot. Who knows?
Right. I put somebody in there. So it's a matter of I have yet to see a slant. I'm sorry, I haven't seen a slant
and a post. I haven't seen any, 5-yard post turned into yak. I'm just not seeing that creativity. But I wanted to go back to analytics. For me, analytics is just not situational enough. It assumes constants, things that are going to, like you say, remain the same. That player will execute this, and this will happen. It doesn't go by all the outside factors. It doesn't take into account, like I said, being 1-3, being a coach possibly on the hot seat, okay? Not connecting with your team yet, your offense not quite gelling. Okay, I don't care if the analytics said go for 2. And a lot of people are saying, I would have gone for 2. I would have gone for 2. No, not for this team in this situation at that time in the game. That is what you're talking about. You need a win. You need to give your guys a chance to win. When we're, 6-4 or 7-4, yeah, you can go with the analytics and go for 2. If you're ahead, 5 points and you need to be ahead 7, yeah, you could go for 2. But for guys to say this play must be done at this time without any consideration, That's where analytics fails.
Especially considering that they gave us that 7-point margin by them trying to go for 2 as well.
Exactly.
They opened it wide. They opened it up for us, and we just said no thanks. We'll try to be cute.
We'll try to be cute.
We'll try to be cute.
Yes, and all you gamblers out there, I ain't sending you to Vegas with my money because God knows what risks you're going to take at the craps table, okay? And all these people that are still crying out about, yes, but we've only lost by a total of 14 points. Excuse me? Why are we all here? To win football games.
Oh, okay. Say it again there, Herm.
To win.
You play to win the game.
To win football games, not boast as a loser. But I only lost by 1. I only lost by 3. Oh, I only lost that game by a touchdown. That's what the losers say. Okay? To make it
sometimes you got to take a moral victory, though.
Yes.
Sometimes if that's what you've got, sometimes you have to.
When they get down to giving out the trophies, there's no category called the moral trophy.
But that can be built upon by those that have the talent. And
that's where I still don't have that faith in Josh to build upon what has happened before. What happened before when you went away from the running game, Josh? Why, after 5 games, haven't you learned? What do we need to do? Take out a billboard? Send you a telegram? A strippergram, right? I mean,
it is Vegas. It might get his attention.
It might.
We'll get one of those trucks. We'll get those trucks with the dancers in the back.
I can have the tassels going into, in different directions too. I figured out how to do that.
Thank you, Al's ghost. I thought for a minute I was channeling Al, but excuse me. Don't tell me that was a good loss because you only lost by 1. I mean, that was unacceptable in Al's locker room. His coaches would not have dared to utter it. Why, I think even the media was afraid to say it. The media,
as they should have been.
You don't
Robert
tell
Bigler,
me.
You're right. You're right. We let him off the hook.
We did.
Get him off the hook. That's true.
By decisions that were made. And oh, by the way, let's still go back to a defense that gave up 30 points. I don't care whether it's the 75th All-Star NFL team, 75th anniversary team, you gave up 30 points. You got to keep we did get kept into the game, but only because we scored. What if the Chiefs' defense had kept us from scoring? What if Josh's decisions had kept us from scoring?
Josh's decisions did keep us from scoring.
As it turns out, Heidi is right. But the whole point is, you can't give up 30 points in this league and expect to win. And how many years do Raider fans have to keep looking at 30-plus point games to understand defense is more important than offense? It is the key to winning championships. Somebody please put up a quote. I can't emphasize it enough. Now, Captain, are we near our time? Or no?
Still got a little bit of time.
An hour. Well, it depends on when you ladies want to pop. But yeah, we're at the 90-minute mark, so it's a matter of. And I know that Ruben did want to come in and talk with you.
Ruben has a lot to say.
Yeah.
And I mean, perhaps on another show, Ruben can say what he has to say.
And Ruben, I think that what Peggy is trying to tell you is that you get with Peggy and Heidi, and then ask if maybe you might be the guest dude, because I'm just the producer with the beard. I'm not a guest dude,
He's
but
the
there is
captain
a
of the
guest dude.
ship.
Yeah, I got other things going on, but if you want to be the guest dude, get with Heidi and get with Peggy, and then you do you to make them pick you as guest dude.
Right. The only thing about it is sometimes you guys, you get on and then you want to challenge, you want to argue. Women don't do football like that, okay? We're not into debate. We want to hear what you're thinking. Your opinion is important. We love these comments, but women don't do debating. This is not a challenge show. My opinion is more
while we might
better.
disagree, we might disagree on how we view
course.
football.
Of course.
That doesn't mean we don't know football.
That's correct. And there's a lot of things unsaid by women, your woman, in fact, that you know nothing about. She probably knows more football than you, but she's not going to tell you because that's not how women handle football. You guys want to come on and debate. And that's
I like this comment.
And we love to hear from you, and we love a guy here, but he got to understand that we roll a different way when it's the ladies involved.
Andrew, I am smiling. This is my smile.
And it's a lovely one too. It reassures me that if I say something wrong, Heidi is coming right at me.
But yeah, this is my smile.
It is. But I think we need to wrap it up, Captain.
We're good. I'm good.
And
yeah, you let me know.
You guys have been wonderful out there, and I'm hoping that you enjoy what we're doing. We're going to have another guest on, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, the guy that one of my gurus, coming up in 2 weeks. And again, if you want to come on, hit Heidi or me, but understand we do it a different way, and we love you all.
And Robert Bigler, like I said, and we had 3 Chiefs fans on tonight. We had Robert Bigler, we had Alex, and we had, of course, Hefe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had on 3 Chiefs fans tonight, and they are, well, Robert and Alex are very credible. Hefe's a troll, but I put up with him, but at least he watches. Okay.
Oh,
so
no. I have great Kansas City fans.
That's right.
Chiefs fans that are friends. We talk football. We talk lots of things. And they're realistic about the whole team, the whole situation. Kansas City fans can't be very happy about their defense basically getting run over last night. This is disturbing, especially if you're thinking about going to the playoffs, okay? This is something that they need to talk about among themselves. But for us, we know where our defense is. We know that our defense just doesn't play 4 quarters of football yet.
Yes.
It's a process. It's a process.
Now, before we go, Peggy, I'm gonna ask a proverbial left field question. Okay. Should we now go out and sign Ndamukong Suh?
Been saying that since the start of the year.
Before the start of the year, because I knew we had bums at defensive tackle, as usual. However, let me give a little shout out to Mr. Billings and Mr. Butler, who have been doing a serviceable,
I think
though
so,
not spectacular job. You just need to move that blob Hankins, that 1T blob out that just did the one trick pony, Hankins, and others who could only do it, and Nichols as well, that could only do one thing: stop the run. That's it. I mean, I'd like them to be able to actually, penetrate the pocket once in a while. And we've been having a few plays with penetration. And oh, by the way, people notice that not only was Max there for the sack and Chandler, but a defensive tackle too. It happens every time. That's the way it's supposed to happen. Those positions meet at the quarterback, and that's how you get sacks. You're not going to get them any other way. Thank you, Edward. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Ed.
We'll
see everyone in 2 weeks.
Mike and Robert and Sharif, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
Remember, this has been Captain Jack's Presents Ladies Night. Those are the ladies. I'm just the old dude with the beard that runs the controls. That's all I do.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.